Ladies, this is the old-fashioned way of scrubbing a floor. Back and forth and back and forth. You don't want this, do you? But this is the modern way. The magic mop way. Get yours today.
Cut. Honey, I'm sorry to have to mention this, but you just didn't give it everything that last time.
Well, I'm getting tired.
I know. Just once more.
I'll try.
Such a trooper. All right, places, everybody. Places. All right. Roll 'em. Action.
Ladies, this is the old-fashioned way of scrubbing a floor. Back and forth and back and forth. You don't want this, do you? But this is the modern way.
Cut! What are you doing?
Well, you're taking all the boughs around here. It's time you did a little work.
What?
Listen, kid, the sooner we get rid of all this bucket of mud, the sooner both of us can get out of here.
What's going on here?
Yeah, what gives?
I've never been so insulted in all my life.
Oh, you must have been.
How did you ever get this miserable scrub woman?
Scrub woman? Why, you...
Hey, what's the matter with you, sister? You blowing your top or something?
I'm sorry. It's just that I wanted to be an actress so bad. All I do is to scrub the floor. I get all this back and forth, but I do have chased
Just once more. All right, places, everybody. Places. Roll 'em. You're rolling. Action.
Cut! From now on, if there's any scrubbing to be done, I'm going to do it at home.
There it is. And I haven't heard a word about work since.
Then the idea really paid off, eh, Jed?
Like a charm.
Well, I'll give it a try.
Will do.
I'll let you know how I make out.
All right.
Thanks, Your Honor. Oh, say, by the way, you're coming up for re-election next month, ain't you?
Why, yes.
Well, you can sure count on my vote. And, I'll spread it around amongst the boys, too.
Well, thank you, Mr. Magruder.
Well, hello, babe.
Here's the list of your campaign contributions.
Oh, fine, Miss Burton. See, I don't see Mr. Bishop or Mr. Chester's name
Oh,
here.
and Mr. Chester called. Seems to be quite a booster of yours.
Yes, well, that's the problem. So is Mr. Bishop, and I need them both.
Well, why can't you use both of them?
Well, it's an old story. You see, they were once partners in business, and they both fell in love with the same girl. Chester got her.
Well, why does Chester hate Bishop?
Did you ever see what he got?
Oh.
Well, anyhow, they've hated each other ever since.
This calls for strategy.
Yeah, well, let's get Chester first and worry about Bishop later. I tell you what, call Chester and invite him to the house for dinner tonight. No, you better call Mrs. Stevens and tell her we're having a guest for dinner tonight.
Uh-huh. Yes, Ethel. I've been doing just wonders on Brad's campaign. Well, for instance, I've got one of the biggest men in town interested in supporting Brad. I've invited him to dinner tonight. Just Mr. Bishop, that's all. Yeah, well, I'll call you later, Ethel. Bye. Brad is going to be so pleased with me.
Joan will be back in just a minute. But right now, still give our friends some good news.
All right. It's this. Right now's a wonderful time to buy a GE 2-in-1 refrigerator food freezer like this one. You see, this time of year, trade-ins are unusually good. So good, the trade-in allowance will probably cover the down payment.
And honestly, you don't know what you've been missing until you get this wonderful GE combination. We didn't. We didn't have this separate freezer section with a separate door and a freezing system all its own. Do you know that this holds 70 pounds of frozen foods at zero cold?
We didn't have all this storage space in the door. Or conveniences like a butter conditioner and sliding shelves.
You know what I just love about our GE? Because of the moist, cold refrigeration, you never have to cover dishes. And you don't have to defrost because frost never forms. Not even that much frost from a tiny ice cube. None at all.
As we said in the beginning, it's so easy to own. See your GE dealer about his liberal allowance in credit terms. You'll be glad you did.
Let me see now. The judge will sit here, and I'll sit over there. Mr. Bishop there, and I'll put, Carrie, who's the fourth place?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Mrs. Stevens. The judge's secretary called before and said that he's bringing a gift, too.
Oh, that's nice. Did he say who it was?
Yes?
Let me see.
Chester? Lester? Chester? Oh, that's it. Mr. Chester. Mr. Chester.
Yes. Mr. Chester. What's wrong?
Harry, Mr. Bishop and Mr. Chester hate each other.
Why, if they meet here, neither one of them will support my husband's campaign. Oh, what am I going to do?
Oh, Joni, I'm home.
Oh, I wish I was dead.
Oh. Good evening, dear.
Well, how'd things go at the office?
Oh, I had a miserable day.
That's nice.
Everything go all right here?
Well,
Feeling okay?
perfect.
Say, who's the other guest for dinner?
It's the one that's going to be tough to answer.
No, I see 4 places. Who is the other guest?
Yeah, it's a dilly, all right. Be careful some salt on your celery.
Joni, I don't like the tone of your silence. Now, who is the other guest? Of course, the fact that I'm having Mr. Chester, who happens to be one of my biggest political supporters, I'd kind of like to know whoever it is will sort of fit in. Now, Joan, who is it?
Well, you know that Mrs. Smith who lives down the block?
No.
Oh, you know her. She lives in that little gray stucco house, that little old lady. Well, she doesn't seem to have any family or anything. She's alone all the time.
Oh, yes, we're having her.
No, but we should sometime, Brad, really.
Well, I'd be delighted to, but who are we having tonight?
You'll be mad.
No, I won't.
You promise?
I promise.
It's Mr. Bishop.
Well, of course, you know, I don't seem the least bit... What? Oh, no, Joni, you didn't do it. No, I'm sure you didn't do it. No, the way those men hate each other would ruin me politically. And I know that even you couldn't do it. No, Joan, because you have too much sense. Joan, did you?
Well,
Joni, do me a favor and tell me you didn't do it.
All right, I didn't do it.
But you did.
Yeah. I was only trying to help.
Help? You realize this would ruin me politically?
Well, why didn't you tell me you were bringing Mr. Chester?
Well, why didn't you tell me that you were having Mr. Bishop?
But you didn't ask me.
Well, neither did you.
Carrie, where are you going?
I'm going back to the baker's. I need some peace and quiet.
Oh, Carrie, the dinner party.
Well, what'll we do?
Well, you're the judge. You make all the decisions.
I'll go answer the door.
I knew he'd come up with something clever.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Chester.
Evening, Judge.
Let me take your hat. You know my wife, Mrs. Stevens?
Yes. How do you do, Mrs. Stevens?
Yes, isn't it?
Well, now that we're here, what do you say we go out and get something to eat?
Wow. Well, I thought you invited me for a home-cooked meal.
We did, right down the street. Harry's Restaurant. Wonderful home-cooked meals. You'll just love it.
Well, no. On second thought, I think we'd better stay here and eat.
Yes, Joni's home-cooked meals. You'll just love them.
Good evening, Mrs. Stevens.
Evening. Bishop, you look terrible. You better go right home and lie down.
Well, but
And don't worry about all this wonderful food being wasted, because your health comes first. So, go home.
I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me except that I'm starved. Where's Brad?
Brad?
Yes, your husband.
Oh, that Brad.
Yes.
Oh,
Where is he?
Sit down, Mr. Bishop. He's outside. He's walking the lawn. I mean, watering the dog. I better see about dinner.
Of course, I'm very happy to have your support in my campaign, Mr. Chester, and also...
It was the newsboy.
I was just telling your husband, Mrs. Stevens, that I'm prepared to be very liberal in his behalf this year. And I